war with Ukraine has had enormous worldwide ramifications. In the shorter term, there's been some economic benefit to China in that regard, given their relationship. One example is the 2 permanent bridges they built between the borders of China and Russia to facilitate trade, and they've estimated that's in 1 year an increase over the last of $190 billion there. China's also given information that their trade has increased 30% with Russia during this period. So in the short run, but in the longer run, I think this illegal war presents difficulties to China in terms of their economic strength and their overall plans. Can you comment on short run and long run ramifications of this war, and what the U.S. can do to drive a wedge or to fill a vacuum that might be there in this time, and importantly, how the U.S.-led coalition shapes China's decision, not just militarily, but economically and in trade.
Yeah, I'll start, and I'll yield to Dr. Sisson. I think that Xi Jinping is no fool, and he's watching this closely, and it throws a monkey wrench into his grand plans. But he's supportive of Russia, but I don't think he's all in on Russia, right? The coalition that you spoke about is key, and I believe that more and more countries who are on the fence regarding their relations with China and with Russia are seeing the reality of what Russia is all about in Ukraine, and that's forcing them to evaluate how they see their relationships with China. Are they going to fall into that same trap as being invaded by China at some point in the future? Are they going to yield their own sovereignty, like Sri Lanka has done to Hambantota Port and others? Are they subject to debt diplomacy, that the weaponization of debt that the PRC has committed against any number of countries?
Dr. Sisson.
Yeah, I think that your question comes with the right perspective built in, which is certainly the CCP is going to take advantage of short-term opportunities as it can. I also will say that they probably didn't expect to need to do so, that this, I don't think, as the Admiral said, was in their grand plans or something that they preferred to have happen. Now that it has, they've learned. They're taking advantage of these near-term opportunities, but they're not seeking any longer-term entanglements, at least as far as I can see. And I would expect that to continue for the duration. I would also note that my understanding is that Xi has communicated to Putin that he ought not consider the use of any kind of nuclear detonation, which is among the most important things that I can possibly think of for the CCP to have done in regards to the conflict in Ukraine.
I couldn't agree more. I think that Xi has made his point clear, not to go beyond certain red lines. And without China there as an ally, that's going to have a huge and harmful effect on Russia going forward. So I do think China plays a critical role there, not by any motivations that aren't self-serving. But I would like to touch base, too. That coalition, as we think of the West, is always there. But we're seeing economically that extend to the Pacific as well, Indo-Pacific as well. So this has really, I think, facilitated relationships with the coalition of countries that really wasn't there before. Would you like to speak to that, either one?
Sure. Yeah, I think that there are a lot of things that are countries that are coming together because of Ukraine, and separately but related because of Chinese bad behavior. So we see the AUKUS, which is a formal defense arrangement. We see the Quad, which is an informal arrangement of like-minded democracies.
And we also see international friendshore supply chains
Right.
being established that weren't there,
So
as well as what you said, Admiral, the importance of export control.
Yeah. So, and I've talked about other countries joining the Quad. The Big Ten has 14 teams, the Big 12 has 10 teams. Nothing that says the Quad has to have only 4 teams. So, I think we should be open to that possibility.
Yeah, I think Russia's aggression not only hurting Russia, I think it's hurting China as well. Yeah. And I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. The chair now recognizes the gentleman